Well, it's day 2 in the defense's fight to keep Hollis Daniels alive. The 24-year-old pleaded guilty to shooting and killing a Texas Tech police officer nearly 6 years ago.
The defense argues Daniels was not in his right mind when he pulled the trigger. KCPD News Channel 11's Shaylee Sanders joins us from the courthouse with more on how today's witnesses describe the man they know. Shaylee?
Karen and Abner, we heard from college friends, high school friends, and extended family members of Hollis Daniels. Everyone who testified said they have never known Daniels to be a violent person. Those who had known Daniels the longest testified that he was kind-hearted, inclusive, and funny. One man who considered himself to be one of Daniels' best friends said he knew Daniels struggled with depression for years and that it had gotten progressively worse, especially the summer before Daniels' sophomore year in college. In fact, he testified that Daniels didn't want to return to Texas Tech but didn't want to disappoint his parents. Now, that summer is when a close family friend who helped raise Daniel, actually lived with Daniels' family, was hit and killed. Loved ones testified that devastated Daniels. Friends also testified that Daniels' casual recreational drug use had escalated. They testified that when Daniels was on Xanax, a drug that he was not prescribed, he was not himself at all. He was aggressive, forgetful, and unemotional. Now, extended family members also took the stand and said that they had a history of mental illness on both sides of the family. The state, through cross-examination, reinforced that Daniels grew up in a loving family. He had all of his needs met. This trial is expected to carry on into next week. We'll have more updates for you tonight at 10. Karen and Abner.